Councilman Stewart?
One question, mine deal with budget. What type of budget would you prefer and how would you manage?
I would like an unlimited amount of money to just, I mean, put a policeman on every corner. I'm being honest with you. I put a policeman on every corner, put police in the schools, but not necessarily to exemplify what they've got going on in places like Bosnia and Russia and that sort of thing, but to be your friend. I remember when I was smaller, police used to come into the schools. Okay, this is my first interaction with police, and a long time ago, I think I was in probably the 3rd or 4th grade. That's when I made up my mind that I wanted to be a police officer. When Officer Friendly came to my school, that impressed me to a point that I said I have got to don that uniform one day, a long time ago. So if I had my utopia, that's what it would be. Thank you. You're welcome.
Councilman Green?
You know, I don't have any more questions. I think that you covered everything up here, and I guess on a final note for me is, if you are selected as the police chief, what could you do in your command staff that's not already being handled right now? I mean, is there any changes that you're going to make, or you know, and I know this is off script, but you've had officers that have applied for the police chief position inside the police department. How are you going to handle that situation if selected as police chief? Is that going to make a difference on how business is conducted? What would you do to handle that?
What I do is what I've done every day for nearly the past 24 years. I don't deal with personalities. I don't have time for that. The only thing that I'm concerned about, one of two things: either you're working or you're not. That's it. If you're not working, I don't care who you are. We got a problem. If you're working, then kudos to you.
And what about your command staff? Is there anything that you would do different with your command staff?
I'm sure that if I'm appointed, yes sir, I might do some, I'm sure I would do some realigning, yes sir.
That's all I have.
Thank for efficiency purposes.
Councilman Gavin? 5 minutes closing. Chief McGuinn?
Okay. Again, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you all and the citizens of Columbus for this process, for allowing me to be here today. I sincerely have your best interests at heart. I've been out there, I've been pounding the pavement for a long time. I think the people that know me think that I'm approachable. I believe in transparency. I would hope and pray that the media wouldn't say amen to that. I don't have anything to hide. I mean, my entire career, I came here as a young man, I'm a lot older now, has been spent right here in the city of Columbus. And if you will enable me to, I'll keep pounding.
Thank you for interviewing with us, and good luck. Thank you. This time we'll begin the process with our third candidate. Mr. Spinks, you come forward, please. $10 minutes opening remark, of the amount of time you need.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm Bob Spanks, and first off, thank you to the mayor and city council for inviting me to come to your city tonight. And also, thank you to the citizens who are also out in the audience, taking their time, and hopefully those as well watching on TV. That's as important as whatever I may say to you tonight. Really, my opening remarks are simple. I have 30 years of public service. In that time, I've worked in about every position that a police officer can work in. I prepared myself to be a chief, and I did that in a couple of ways. I always looked for opportunity and promotions for that next step. I took a different path than some people do. Some people will stay in one department their entire career, and then they're kind of like the last guy standing. They get to be chief for 3 years, they retire. That's pretty traditional. Mine's a little different. I took opportunities, and I took a certain amount of risk with my career. I was willing to go to other places and share my experiences, as well as learn how to do things different ways in different venues. I went back to college. I got my graduate degrees in organizational management and also in criminal justice. And I think one of the blogs said, boy, I bet somebody else paid for that. And that was just a mail order degree. Well, I don't think the University of Cincinnati would appreciate that, number one, because that university had the first criminal justice program in the history of the United States, dating back to 1819. So I made investments in myself. I paid for them myself. I still have those student loans. I'd love to be able to pay those off. And I got bit by the bug to be a leader. Not a manager, but a leader. And so that has brought me here to be involved in a hiring process, which, as you all know, is a two-way process. You're evaluating me just as I am evaluating you and your community. And tonight, I hope I can give you some more insight. So having said that, Mr. Mayor, I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Proud to have you. What community-oriented programs have you been involved with?
What kind of community-oriented programs? I think probably about everything you could possibly be involved in. I've been involved both as a line officer and a supervisor in providing programs, and also as a chief in creating those programs. And that includes, DARE programs, school resource officer programs, making sure that there's surveys for the community to judge and evaluate the services of the police department. I've been involved in expanding and creating investigations units. I was one of the executives who helped create the Oregon Accreditation Program for those law enforcement agencies. I've been involved as an executive overseeing narcotics teams, 3 narcotics teams, and a statewide program. But more importantly, aside from all the police work, because quite frankly, I think all 3 of us, know how to be a police officer. I've also made sure that I've been involved in the community in recognizing and investing in what people need. Right now I'm on the board of directors for Olympic Community Action Programs. That's an $11 million a year program, 226 employees who provide work training, emergency weather assistance, social services programs to 11,000 people in the 2-county area. I'm on the board of directors for our senior center, which has 1,600 members. I've been on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club. Those things, I think, are as critical for a police chief as actually putting together enforcement-oriented programs.
If elected chief for the city of Columbus, what would be your top 3 priorities?
Well, I think the first priority, I think it's pretty clear. I know I'm the guy from out of town. So I think number 1, I better listen. Number 2, make myself available. And number 3, make sure that I damn want to integrate myself into your community. Those are the three most important things that I need to do.
Okay. Explain how you created a crime prevention emergency management program with 20 neighborhood watch groups.
You know, over the years, again, I believe in this case, 70 police officers cannot take care of all the crimes or all the issues that face Columbus. Not possible. But 25,000 people with 50,000 eyeballs, that makes a huge difference. You all know that. So being able to go out and create neighborhood watch programs, which I've done in all three of the cities where I've been a police chief, to be able to organize those neighborhood watch programs. And then really the next step of that is to look at creating community emergency response teams for emergencies. And you use that same base of engaged and active neighborhood watch folks. But neighborhood watch by itself is not a silver bullet. It means that you have to seed and you have to feed and you have to continue to invest in those programs. And by itself, that's not the only answer. I think probably anything that you look at is going to have to be holistic. So that includes making sure that you've got officers who are in the schools. And you do have some kind of a structure for school resource officers. Who's going to pay for that? I don't know. Maybe that's a partnership opportunity with the school districts. Maybe that's a partnership with looking at outside funding from some of the corporations which have come to your area and who are more cash flush. I don't know. But I know a lot of that's based on partnerships. And the partnerships that I've been able to bring and work on as a police chief have been successful, and my door has always been open, and I've never been one to like to sit behind a desk and just push paper.
Explain your experience as a city planner versus a chief of police.
A city planner?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think there's a couple ways to look
I
at
said city planner, I mean city manager.
city manager.
Yes, right.
I was an interim city manager for over a year, and I think, number one, I'm really appreciative of folks who have that expertise, more so than I was when I could just kind of come in and say, well, I need more money. My experience as an interim city manager in Sequim, which has a service population of about 26,000, a resident population of about 8,000 or 9,000. But that experience, I think, even though you think you know what your boss is doing, when you're actually sitting in that chair, it's completely different. What it allowed me to do is to tap into the expertise of the other department heads. My first day in that position on my desk was, how are we financing this $15 million improvement and expansion of our wastewater facility? That wasn't quite fit, tied up as everybody else left. That's, an eye-opening experience. Now, the end result is you look at the resources you have, you put your team together, you look at your financing, blah, 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 you move forward, and you get your $15 million facility paid for. The educational part to that is to realize that city government involves more than just the police department, and that there are resources in all of those city departments that you can marshal for different types of crime prevention. That's one of the things I learned.